So I've mentioned many times that I have been keeping a streak going on for King of Games in both Speed and Rush ever since like 2020, I think. It has started even before the first video of my channel. And I have already stopped playing Rush Ranked because I feel like it's just too much of a time commitment, especially when Rush is such a coin flippy game mode. You have to spend a lot of time just to win 5 games in a row to get to King of Games. I just don't think I have the time for that. But today I've decided that it's just not worth it for speed either. You know, realistically, I should have stopped a long time ago because a long time ago I have already stopped, thinking that it's worth playing just because it has stopped being fun for me a long time ago and has been more of like a commitment, more of a sunk cost fallacy thing because, the streak has been going on for a very long time. So, um, it would be kind of not worth it to stop the streak after going for so long. But currently the meta is just so miserable that I think it makes sense to stop. Even after the ban list tried to address some of the problems, but again, Konami being Konami, they don't hit the skills enough, if at all, right? The Firion skill and the D Hero skill is completely unhit. Um, they try to hit the ban list, they try to hit the FTK pieces, but people already found other ways to FTK, like the Necromain King thing that just skips your turn, and it's gonna take like 3 more months until Konami hits those cards as well. So it's just gonna be whack-a-mole until Konami properly addresses the issue. And then cards like Elphobia is not hit either, so Lyrilusc is a deck that you can play, which is also a deck that I have been playing before I decided to stop. Lyrilusc is, if you want a deck that is pretty cheap and can win in this miserable meta game, I do recommend Lyrilusc just because it's the combo lines are pretty short. When you go first, you just make Assembled Nightingale and pass, and if you have Elphobia, you just activate Elphobia and you win the game. If you go second, you just draw into Lava Golem and just clear the board and just attack with Assembled Nightingale multiple times, right? It's pretty simplistic and brain dead in terms of competitive meta decks, but it's not fun. It's to put it simply, it's just not fun, and the rewards that you get from ranked is also not worth it either. And this has been true for like pretty much ever since ranked has been a thing. They never really increased the rewards for getting the King of Games. It's still 200 gems, and I don't think it's worth the time that you put into it. But it would be worth it, if the meta game is fun and you can actually play your fun decks and uh, play fun games against other people. But this meta game has been miserable for way too long, and after the ban list, people were hoping that it would at least solve kind of the biggest issues that are going on in the meta game, like people playing Lava Golem and Sphere Mode everywhere, and FTKs and hand loops and floodgates. But uh, even with all of the hits that they did, it's just not solving the root issue. Lava Golems and Sphere Modes are not hit, which I think is actually okay, but the issue is that the decks that they are good against are not hit enough, so that people are still going to play Lava Golems and Sphere Modes as long as decks like Firion or D Hero are in the metagame, which they will be because they aren't hit enough. The meta is just going to be miserable, and people are going to play stuff like Massive Restrict to stop Lava Golem, and this is just like not a very fun play pattern. And if you want to get to King of Games, it's not difficult. Not stopping because it's difficult to get to King of Games. It has never been difficult to get to King of Games. I always think that if you are playing a decent enough deck, you can get to King of Games with any moderately good deck as long as you play enough games. But playing enough games is the miserable part, especially when the meta is so bad. And if you're forced to play stuff like this to consistently win, I just don't think it's worth the time effort. I'd much rather use my time on other things that I feel like is much more worth my time, right? I could be playing character duels and still getting rewards. Have you seen the stuff that you can get with respect orbs? It's pretty good. You get like 500 gems every month, and that's like way more than getting to King of Games, and you don't have to be miserable all the time, right? And there's also like other stuff you can get, just like box chips. If you can play a much better game mode in character duels, and you can play other stuff that's not duelings as well, and I still think that would be a much better use of your time. I just don't think it's worth it anymore. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to talk about. With the metagame, it's still bad after the new ban list, and I don't want to play a deck like this to get to King of Games, even if I could, because it's gonna be wasting my time on doing stuff that I just feel like it's just not worth my time. So yeah, I guess tell me what you think about this metagame, and if you feel like you are experiencing the same thing as me. And yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.